They were smiling in the photos, 4 friends, 2 couples, standing in front of fog-covered mountains, unaware that only one of them would come back alive. Because Ethan and Lily, along with Mark and Jenna, planned a quiet weekend trip to the remote Black Ridge Mountains to escape work, noise, and phones, renting a cheap old cabin where the owner casually warned them not to hike past the old fire trail after sunset. A warning they laughed off, not knowing it would haunt them forever. Inside which words were carved into the wall saying, "It hears you." Something that unsettled Lily but amused the others. Until that night when the power cut out at exactly 11:47 p.m. and heavy footsteps circled the cabin, slow and deliberate. And then from the woods came a voice calling Jenna's name in Mark's exact tone, while Mark stood right beside her, frozen. And then another voice called Ethan using Lily's voice. And that was when fear truly set in, as they realized something outside could copy them perfectly. The next morning bringing false relief as sunlight returned, and they convinced themselves it was imagination. Deciding to hike the fire trail, where they discovered an abandoned campsite with shredded tents, and a working camera that played footage of terrified hikers screaming that something was copying their voices before the video abruptly cut off. And when they noticed inhuman barefoot footprints with too many joints pressed into the mud, the fog rolled in fast, erasing the trail, looping them endlessly until Mark suddenly vanished without a sound, leaving only his backpack behind. And moments later, his voice echoed from the trees begging for help, luring Jenna into the fog where her scream ended too quickly, leaving only Ethan and Lily, who ran through the forest while stolen voices whispered, laughed, and begged around them. And as the night deepened, Lily began speaking less, until she suddenly spoke in Mark's voice, telling Ethan it wanted him alone, causing him to flee blindly, until he fell into an abandoned mining tunnel filled with neatly arranged bones and skulls carved with hundreds of names, couples just like it, with a message written in blood on the wall saying, "It learns by LISDNING." And at dawn, Ethan stumbled out onto a highway barefoot and broken, rescued and declared the sole survivor. But weeks later in his apartment, his phone began ringing with no number, and when he answered, he heard Lily breathing. And sometimes, his own voice whispered his name from dark corners, and sometimes he woke up already standing, already speaking words he didn't remember choosing, because whatever lived in those mountains didn't just follow them home. It learned him, and they say Black Ridge is quiet now. But if you ever hike those mountains and hear your own voice calling your name from the fog, don't answer, because it already knows how you sound.